Welcome, everyone. We are live with the Martial Arts Experience. It's Friday, February 24th. I hope everyone's doing well. Without further ado, though, we have a great guest today. We're excited that he could make time in his schedule to come on. So I'm going to bring him right aboard, and it is Mr. Jesse Kove. How are you, sir?
What's up, guys?
I appreciate you taking the time. And where are you at now, Jesse? Where are you? Where exactly at in the country right now?
I'm in Los Angeles right now.
And how is the weather there?
It's really raining right now. It's like crazy raining, which I actually really like. I love when it rains. I love thunderstorms. I love lightning. So we need this rain. So I'm excited about it. And it's a Friday, so I can get to sit back, relax, and chill with my girlfriend at home and have a lazy Netflix night, probably with a fire.
So you got a Netflix and chill night tonight.
Yes, totally.
Awesome. Well, Jesse, let's jump right in. Let's go into your background. How did you get started in the movie business? What obviously what drew your interest?
I've always loved movies since I was a kid, and growing up around my dad, it was always, movies were definitely a huge part of my upbringing. My dad always wanted to show classic movies like, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and Casablanca, all those great movies that were made, one of the first, some of the greatest movies ever. And so, I would watch those and I'd go, oh, Dad, not another black and white movie or something. But then I ended up watching it with him, and they're always amazing. I mean, these movies were always incredible. And so I always grew up with that. And then I always loved performing in front of my family. I loved like being a magician and doing magic tricks in front of my family. I think I would always watch. I think it was like I don't remember if it was like ABC Family or something. We always do like a magic special on the weekends or something, and it was so much fun. So I would always perform in front of the family, and then in high school and stuff, in middle school, I always went into like performing arts schools and classes, and then I went into all the plays, and I did film school as well. So I always loved it. It was always something that I really loved. And then, my dad really never wanted me to get into the industry.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he never pushed for it. I'd visit him on set all the time around the world, and I would always watch and absorb things. And until, I was about probably 17, 18, I was like, you know what, I really would love to do this professionally and see where it takes me. So, I went and found an agent, got it going, and it's just been a steady climb, for all these years. So I'm just, grateful for all the work that's come my way.
Right. Absolutely. Now, and obviously coming up as the son of, the legendary John Kreese. I mean, did you have to deal with anything special as a kid kind of coming up with that, or that was the cool thing at that time?
I mean, it was always kind of cool to see people obviously, fan out around my dad. And, we always had a good time seeing him, be generous with his fans. And, it was cool. To me, it was always my dad, and that was an aspect of his life. And, I think him being such a cinephile, we love movies so much. So it was just kind of like in our wheelhouse to kind of see that all happening. And it was, there were some weird times, of course, that happened, the weird things that happen all the time,
Right.
And, we also like living our normal life too.
Right. Now, Jesse, what was the first, let's say your first project, your first big break? What did you feel out of all the projects you've done has been like your first big one?
Oh, probably the first big one. I'd say I did a movie in China for 3 months. It was called On Wings of Eagles. That was with Joseph Fiennes, Ray Fiennes' brother, Voldemort's brother. And Joseph's an amazing actor. It's just such an incredible experience to work with him. Such a gentleman and a true like thespian. That was a really big movie. We shot that in Beijing and the Shandong province. World War II, epic World War II drama.
Wow.
Incredible movie.
Right.
So if you haven't had a chance, check that out. It was an incredible experience. It was a Chinese American co-production, and it was in theaters here, and it was really big in China. Like I was literally on like buses and stuff in China. Like it was crazy. The movie's like 80% in English, so it's a great story. I really encourage people to go see that.
Awesome. Okay. And did you feel so? After that first project, and literally you went overseas for the first project. That's crazy.
Yes.
First, right.
Not the, yeah. Like probably one of the biggest movies I've done was that, and it was It was huge. It was so much fun. And it was actually cool to, like, at that time, just kind of go toe to toe with like Joe at that point. He's had such an incredible career, and Shakespeare in Love and all these amazing movies. And to be able to work with him and talk creatively with him was just kind of proved the point that, this was what I'm supposed to be doing. And we had these great conversations all the time, and we inspired each other. And it was really cool to just kind of have that connection that way. It was reaffirming, about, what we do as artists.
Right. Jesse, we have a couple people that chimed in. If we could say a quick hello to Joanne. Joanne supports our show. If you could say a quick hello to Joanne.
What's up, Joanne? I don't know where you are, but I appreciate you listening.
Then we also have another one of our faithful followers, Levi Dennis. If you could say hello to Levi.
What's up, Levi Dennis? We hear you. We appreciate you, bud.
Thank you. And we got one more. We got Robert. I don't know how to say his last name. Is it Devane? If you could say hello to Robert.
Robert, is it Devane? Robert Devane?
Daveant.
Robert Devant?
Devant. There we go. E-A-N-T.
Robert Devante?
Devant. We'll leave it at Devant.
Devant. Okay.
We're pushing. And
Right,
Robert's from New Jersey. Robert's from New Jersey. Just chimed in.
Oh, he's from Jersey. Okay.
Yeah. So he would be like more of a Rob.
Got it. What's up, Rob?
And Joanne is from the United Kingdom.
Oh, I love the UK. It's so great over there. But I spent a lot of time there last year. It was awesome.
Awesome. So we have, it was cool when I got to post a lot of different films and projects that you've been in, and you talked about your film in China. But let's talk about this cultural phenomenon of, Cobra Kai. You know what I mean? I mean, that was awesome. I think you looked great. What was it like to, get involved with that, that freight train that's running? You know what I mean?
It was amazing. I mean, it was kind of a surprise. I'd always, obviously, I would have wanted to be a part of it in some way, in some form. I had no idea how. I didn't really expect it at all. It's totally my dad's, vehicle and his history and legacy. And so I'm always there to support him. And, this audition came up for this role, and my manager and I, we didn't really know what it really entailed. They didn't really say too much. And then I went into the audition room, and I just, I asked them, how much of a, douche do you want this guy to be? And they, they just said full on. And I was like, all right. So I went in there, did this thing, and they loved it. It was just, worked out, and I was so grateful. And my dad was already filming he had started shooting season 3 already in Atlanta when this was happening in LA. And so I called him up, and I was like, it looks like I'm going to stay with you. They were going to put me in a hotel, but my dad had a really nice apartment there. And I was like, all right, we're going to stay with you, Dad, for the week. And he was so excited. He was just so thrilled. It was a cool moment for both of us. And then to have him, be on the set that day, watching, as well as, acting alongside Barrett Carnahan, who's an incredible actor and also a good friend, and from Cobra Kai now. Yeah. And
he plays the younger version, right? He plays the younger version.
Right. He's young Kreese. And so, there was this great, Back to the Future moment on set with my dad watching. I'm his son. He's young Kreese. He's the young version of my dad. I'm beating him up. It was really cool. It was really special. And even even John, Josh, and Hayden, the creators of the show, they were even told me, this is the first time they've ever done a true period piece.
Yeah.
This was, they did a couple of them did, the 80s comedy, Hot Tub Time Machine, but this was the first time they ever went back in time like this,
right.
In a drama. So it was cool. It was really, really fun. And again, I was just so grateful, and, really wanted to make everybody proud and bring something cool to the table. I think we got something very special, because people still talk about that whole segment.
Absolutely.
Today. Yeah. And it was a pivotal moment in the show, and for the storylines of a lot of characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you guys did a great job. It's funny because I remember, and I've watched the whole season, I've watched every episode, and it was funny, because when you first appeared, before everybody kind of figured out who was who, and obviously I knew you were, it was, did it come where, was there speculation at any point that you were going to play a younger version of your dad by any chance?
I think it kind of more so came up afterwards.
After.
Like people were asking about it, and obviously it would have been cool to do that. But again, Barrett did a great job. He's a great actor. He put a lot of care into it. It was super cool to support him and what he was doing with that. And he was great. And he's just got that perfect hair too. It's just like literally that John Kreese hair at the time. So it's just perfect. But yeah, I mean, there's always been jokes about like spin-offs and stuff like that. I always thought it would be interesting if there was like if they kind of dove into like younger Kreese world and, back in time and just kind of living in that world at that time, maybe even after Vietnam or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he and Captain David become buddies at some point. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I thought that would be cool to explore that universe.
Right. And it's kind of bittersweet now for the, just to kind of close up the Cobra Kai, because there's one season left. They announced it. It's kind of publicly out there. So I'm sure there's a lot of crying and tissues that are out there, right? I feel that Buff could have ran for 20 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened so fast, it's like already like, season 6, it's pretty cool. It's, it is sad. It's also like beautiful at the same time because like, you don't want a show to go on too long to the point where it's like, like all of a sudden it gets canceled or it doesn't like it just, you want to end on a really high note. It's got some wings, it'd be like, oh my God, that was just amazing. You go back and you watch it all over again. And I think it's one of those things you'll be able to just kind of go back and forth. And I think they have talked about doing other, Cobra Kai universe stuff. Which I think is they talked about that a while ago because I think that universe is not over. Right. Just like Stranger Things, like they talked about doing like Stranger Things spin-offs and different storylines, and I think that would be great to do that, and it would be it'd be fun. I know it would be cool if they did like a final big movie, big Cobra Kai movie to end it all would be fun, but we got to move on to other stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I got to tell you, it Cobra Kai means so much to so many different people, right? Because you guys have touched base with multiple fans. So you have, the new fans, right? That this is new to them. They know nothing about the 80s Karate Kid. They don't know anything about that because they weren't even born yet. And then you have, the old timers, which per se would be me. I grew up with that film. To see the longevity of what it's come and the characters and yourself and your dad. I mean, it's a special thing for a lot of people.
It is a special thing. It's a special thing for us. Even with my dad, like to go through this whole this whole journey. All of those guys, Ralph, Billy, and my dad. For them, it's a special thing for them to have gone through as well together. They're all such close friends, so it's kind of nice that they're able to share this experience, together and be, in support of each other at the same time.
Yeah. Now, Jesse, since you were drawn into the whole Cobra Kai universe, have you indulged or are you involved with any type of martial arts training or boxing or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I do it all, man. Yoga, martial arts, boxing. I train at Prevail Boxing as well.
Nice.
My sensei is actually Master Lacombe, who used to train Billy back.
Oh wow!
And he worked under the whole Chuck Norris umbrella, that whole situation, and also Pat Johnson as well.
Wow.
So, the Karate Kid. So that circle's kind of really interesting. So. He's currently my sensei, which is great. I've been training with him, and we've been having a blast. My sister's actually does it with me, so we got two Cobras in one dojo, and it's been amazing. Plus, I love doing stunt work and what I do. It's just so it just helps you so much to know all this stuff, especially going into the in film and television and. One, it's great for your health, great for your mind, your brain, your body. But it's also obviously great, if you know what you're doing on camera. And, even I do a lot of like, firearms training as well. I work with Taron Butler, who trained Keanu Reeves for all the John Wick movies.
Oh, wow.
So, kind of building up the arsenal of tools and to be able to, not literally, but, the tools to be able to, do all this great stuff on camera. So it's pretty great.
So where do you feel? What's the direction that you're trying to, take your career to now? And I'm going to bring this picture up because this, I think, really right, real dramatic. The D-Day,
Right.
film. Let's talk about that. But obviously, that's a different role. That's not Cobra Kai. So let's talk about that film a little bit and your career and the direction it's going.
Yeah, I mean, I love variety. I love playing characters. I feel the most comfortable when I'm playing a real character. Like if I'm just playing like, handsome guy who's, like that stuff's all great and fun and you bring your own thing to that too. But I really love playing like real characters that are like in a different time or, where something, the wardrobe is completely different. Kind of like how Johnny Depp is, when he gets totally lost in the characters he plays. I'm very much in the same vein. That's why in the D-Day movie, like I totally was in that character. I was smoking Lucky Strikes at the time, what they smoked back then, which is, I don't recommend anybody to do that.
Yeah.
But it was just part of being a character and then being in those clothes and also, like the World War II movie I did. I really love World War II stuff. That's such a big time.
How many films have you done in that genre? Like how many films? Because you've done a couple.
Two.
Okay.
Two. Funny enough, I was able to get my dad a cameo in the D-Day movie, and it was the first World War II movie that he'd done, which was so it was nice to be able to gift him that.
Your dad's a big Western guy. He loves the Western films. Yeah.
Yes. And I just did a Western actually that'll come out later this year called Farhaven.
Nice.
And that one I'm really excited about. My dad's got a little fun part in that too. Awesome. He came on for a couple days, and I can't say too much because it's the characters are great, but. That one I'm very, very excited about. Again, a Western, totally got lost in that. It was riding horses, had so much fun. I know they're going to probably come out with a trailer in the next couple months, but it's called Farhaven, and it's a kick-ass movie. It's badass. It's awesome. It's got some grit. Bailey Chase is in it, directed by Gary Wheeler. Amanda Getty is also in it. A. Martinez. And it's great. Super excited about that one. And I got another two movies, a Christmas movie I just finished, and also we're opening up at the what is it? I think it's I forget the film festival in Florida. It's some big one. I forget. Called Taste of Love, which is another romantic comedy that I did, which is really, really fun. That was with Aaron Cahill. So we got a lot of good stuff cooking, man.
Yeah. I mean, you got martial arts, you got, World War II, you got love, drama, you're all over the place. That's great.
I like it all, man. I love it all. I never want to be categorized in one. As an actor, you got to be like a chameleon. So I never want to be like, oh, he can only play this, or he can only play the tough guy, or I want to be like, Jesse can like do it all. If I need to play a woman, I'll do a woman. If I need to play, some sergeant in the Roman era, great. I'll do
that too. Yeah. Hey, Jesse, we got a couple familiar. Sheila Duquesne. Sheila chimed in. She, if you could just say a quick hello for her.
Hey, Sheila.
She said you give the best hug.
I wish I could see their comments, or I wish I could see them.
Let's see. There you go. She said Jesse gives the best hugs.
Oh, hi, Sheila. Yes. She's amazing. She's fantastic. Thank you for chiming in and being here.
She's good. She always supports. It's funny.
More hugs to give. There will be more opportunities for hugs.
Oh, man. And we also have a CJ Rivera from New York. If you could say a quick hello to CJ. He's a martial artist.
What's up, CJ? I love New York, by the way. I always love going out there. I was there a few months ago. One of probably my favorite city in the world.
Is it really?
So what's up? Yeah, New York's amazing. So what's up, CJ?
Awesome. So you mentioned a couple projects that are coming up. What else is on the plate? So obviously, you're kind of setting yourself, like you said, you want to be diverse. You want to be open to any role. Is there a specific genre you're trying to push, or whatever, where do you want your career to take you?
I mean, obviously right now, while I'm, nimble with my knees and everything, I think probably action stuff is really fun to do right now, It comes naturally. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's also challenging. I hopefully can do like, I would love to be part of a Marvel Marvel or DC, universe project would be amazing. I know people aren't so too happy with DC at the moment, but any of those are just great. Would be so fun.
It's like
And
a bucket list thing, right, Jesse? To be a superhero.
yeah, it would be amazing. I've talked about it before. Like years ago, I auditioned for Captain America. I was in the queue for that.
Nice.
So that was really cool. But at the time, I was a young kid. I was skinny. I looked like Chris Evans before he became Captain America at the time. So
man.
I don't think it worked out.
Oh God. So Jesse, is if you had any advice for any up and coming actors in 2023, right? Because your generation is much different than your dad's. They didn't have social media, they didn't have all this stuff. Is there any advice that maybe you could give for, someone that's looking to get into the industry?
You just pick up acting books. Like go to Amazon, find acting books, find an acting class. That's just get involved in that world. Like go to acting class. That's the best thing you can do. Go to theater class. If you can do theater, you can do anything. And then from that, you'll be able to have the confidence, film yourself and do videos, and then you'll be able to use those videos to get an agent. And then all of a sudden, you have an agent who's pitching you on TV and film, and then there you go. You're going to get one eventually. Also don't be discouraged. I can't even tell you how many times I've been turned down and said no to, he's too tall, he's too handsome, he's not big enough, he's not fat enough, he's not skinny enough, he's too skinny, he's, all this stuff.
Wow.
I mean, you just have to, there's specific things that specific people want, and, it's a marathon. It's not a race. The trajectory of my career is just, going. Yeah. And it's continuing to grow, and it's going to where I want it to be eventually as well. But it just takes time. And you also, I'm a far better actor now than I was, 5-10 years ago. And it's just growing and changing, and you're adapting, and, even post-COVID, all the stuff that's changed. It's just, just stay at it. Everybody in today's world wants instant gratification because of social media. We want everything like this. But that's not really how it works. Like, it takes time,
Right.
When you think about someone like Jason Momoa, right? Like think of how far back his career starts before who he is now, which everybody knows who he is. Even when he was on Game of Thrones, he wasn't
as big as now. No.
Right. So and that was like how long ago was that? When that first, minimum 5 years ago. It's 6, 7, maybe, right? Maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. Is that long?
I think it's who else comes to mind. It's funny, you got Creed 3 coming out. Michael B. Jordan, he was a kid acting in The Wire, an HBO series. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Yes.
Years and years it takes.
They have the premiere there on Monday. I'm trying to go to that. But yes, dude, exactly. Like all these, just everybody. Chadwick Boseman, before he was Black Panther, all the stuff that he did. Michael B. Jordan, all these, it just takes time. All of a sudden, bam, they're in the limelight, and they're like, oh my God. But then they're like, they've been doing this for 10, 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But it's also cool to go back and look at people's previous work before they either became a star or whatever. It's interesting to see, look at George Clooney on what was it, ER or whatever. It's cool. It's cool to see,
Yeah. Oh my God. So you talked a lot that you said you like to do action, and you're doing action now, obviously, because you said your knees are doing well. Craziest stunt or craziest stuff that you've been involved with at this point in your career? Craziest thing you've done, or most exciting?
I would probably say, in terms of scope, I would say the movie I did in China was massive. That movie was it was the equivalent of $100 million movie. It was so big. One day we had 2,000 extras. Wow. It was just a huge movie.
Yeah.
But in terms of crazy, I had so much fun doing this in Farhaven. There's this one scene where we have a shootout. We're getting shot at, and I have to fan my gun, which is you hit, and after I do that, I run to my horse and I jump on my horse and I full on gallop out of there. Stuff like that was really that excites me, and it's fun. That's all the stuff that you're thinking about in the moment and what's going on. Fight scenes too. The fight scene in Cobra Kai was so much fun. We rehearsed that a few days before. Barrett didn't get as much rehearsal time as I did. God bless him. They were still doing some rehearsals on the set that day, and that was really cool to do all that. It's like a dance, and then we figure it out. We get in our groove, and it always changes. There's always something different, you know. I can't tell you how many times I've been killed on camera in many different ways, you know, which is always fun and creative in its own way.
Yeah.
But if you want to get a good laugh, the way I die in a movie called Axe Giant. That was a movie I did when I was 19. It's a horror movie, and it's a go even look up the trailer. You'll have a great time. It's young Jesse, you know,
Axe trailer.
Axe Giant.
Giant.
Yeah. And it's Paul Bunyan is basically the villain in this movie. It's really fun. This goes back like, oh my God, like 12 years.
So does your dad give you any advice, or is he hands off? Like, does he say, you should do this, or you guys kind of keep it separated?
Oh, it's both. I mean, you know, he never wants to overstep his boundaries, but you know, whenever we're on set together, we'll always give notes to each other. Oh, maybe you should try this and try that, and you know, we always try and make it work somehow. We help each other out a lot. You know, it's like, well, why not? You know, we don't, and you know, I remember there was, we did this like that the fanning the revolver. He was on set that day, and he's like, Jesse, why don't you run out and then fan it as you run out? I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And then I did it, and the director Gary Wheeler was like, oh my God, I love that. Let's get a special shot of that, him doing this pushing. You know, it's like fun. My dad is like a Western guru, so he knows when it comes to Western, he knows his stuff. You know. Awesome. So fun stuff like that, you know, and obviously we always want each other to find our own way, you know, naturally. Right. And if we can help each other out with notes along the way, you know, we're always there for each other.
How many movies have you guys done together, or series have you done together now?
So we're actually developing a series right now, which is a Western. We have a comic book out right now that we debuted over at New York Comic Con last summer. Nice. Called Prodigal Son. Really great piece. We're developing that into a series, and as well tied in with the comic book as well. I think we've done at least 5-6 movies together, I'd say. You know, awesome. Spanning from comedy to drama, or cameos in each other's stuff. You know, it's always fun. I remember I did this project I always love. I played this. They made this short film, but it was really good actually. You should check it out. It's called The Shadow. And it's a take on Alec Baldwin's Shadow character from the 90s that he played, you know.
Oh wow.
And I know the evil that lurks within the hearts of men. The Shadow knows. You know, I said all that. And so anyway, I remember I was in the audition, and there was this great character for the older detective. And I asked them, I was like, hey, like, you know, have you cast this other part yet? And they said, no, not yet. And I, you know, very, you know, kind of nonchalantly was just kind of like, well, you know, I'm not sure, you know, my dad's an actor. And they were like, oh, well, yeah, we know who he is. Yeah. I said, oh, okay, great. I was like, well, we like to work together, and this might be something you really like, you know, it could be perfect. And they're like, oh, really? Like, that would be amazing. And so we ended up working it out. He got paid a lot more than I did, but it worked out.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But you know what? That's got to be a blessing for you though, too, to get that opportunity to, you know, obviously go through your career with your dad and have those special moments, you know, because you know, and I think I had shared this with you. You know, your dad's an unbelievable guy. Obviously, I have nothing to do with movies, and he's just a caring man. Because I remember he had spoken to me when my mom had passed. He had just came from a Comic-Con that he did for me in New Jersey, and he's just a great guy, man. Honestly, your dad's he's a great guy, great man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate him. So, and I know you said you got about 30 minutes, so I know we're getting close to the time. I wanted to ask you, did you know how to ride horses? How did that whole process go? Because now you're doing these Westerns, you know, did you know, or you had to learn?
Yeah, I've been riding horses since I was a kid. So that was a no-brainer for me. I was very comfortable on horses. I love I go on horseback riding trips throughout the year. It's something I'm actually going on one next weekend.
Wow.
in Arizona. So definitely, you know, also another thing for other actors, learn how to ride a horse. It's really important. Learn how to ride a horse. Nothing worse than an actor saying he knows how to ride a horse and then coming on set and not knowing what to do with the horse. Because one, you can hurt the animal,
right, and
they can also hurt you. So it's really important. And yeah, love riding horses. It's definitely part of my childhood and love all that. So yeah,
learn how to ride a horse. So everybody who's looking to act, make sure you learn how to ride a horse.
Yes.
So Jesse, I gotta say, so you know, you've been blessed, obviously, you know, by the good genes of your dad. I see your great hair. I don't know if you remember when you did the your dad did the magazine and you guys did the interview, but you guys got great hair. Like, I don't even know. Like, you guys got great hair.
That was a great issue, by the way. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that.
No,
I remember he was so excited to get the box for that. It was like we were traveling, and I remember it was raining at the time. He was like, oh, he's like the mail guy's gonna leave it outside. It's gonna get all wet, and I'm not there. And then we finally ended up working out. We got it. He was thrilled.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. And again, I really appreciate your time today. So I know you got to go. Any last words, anything? So we got the new movie coming out, right? When does that projected to come out?
All this within the next 3 to 6 months, all these movies. We've got Farhaven, which is the Western. We've got A Taste of Love, which is a romantic comedy. And then a Christmas movie I just finished, which I can't even tell you what it is yet. But that's a fun one. And also Prodigal Son. That we're doing, that my dad and I are developing the comic book. So we got a lot of irons in the fire right now.
The comic book is not out yet, correct? No one could purchase that yet, correct?
Not if you go to thundercomics.com, you can look up all the information on it. I think you might be able to purchase it on there, or they'll just send you a copy. I think you pay for the shipping, but thundercomics.com, and you can see it all there. It's pretty exciting.
Awesome. Well, again, on the behalf of the Martial Arts Experience, Jesse, I want to thank you so much for coming out today. I know you're a busy man, obviously, 5 movies, riding horses, motorcycle bikes, but I appreciate you taking the time to come out with us today. Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much. And also check out Master Lacombe in Premier Martial Arts in Westlake. He's amazing. If anybody's looking to get into any martial arts while you're there, I'm there. I trained with him.
Awesome.
He's my sensei, so yeah.
And is he part of the? So there's a big Premier franchise in East Coast. Is it the Black and Green, or it's a different Premier?
This one is it Black and Green? I think it is. Hold on, let me look at this on the Instagram. Hold on.
You said he trained. Who else?
He trained Billy Zabka.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
He trained him a lot. Hold on. Let me see here. Here it is. Is it Black and Green? Yeah, it's Black and Green and yellow.
Premier Martial Arts. Yeah, they have a big franchise. They have multiple schools out here in New Jersey, Pennsylvania. They're all over the place.
Yeah, they're awesome. And he's great. So, they teach a lot of kids and stuff. We're working on a lot of my problem is that I need to create more flexibility for myself so I can really get those forward kicks and stuff. Oh my God, I'm trying to do it right now. I'm really sore. All that good stuff. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, again, Jesse, thank you so much for joining us. To everyone that logged in today, thank you so much. Obviously, we'll be putting up on our different channels, but hope you guys got some great information from Jesse. This was an awesome show today. I want to wish everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Jesse, be safe, and thank you so much, guys. Take care, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.